Hey guys, welcome to the Rushdown review for inFamous First Light. So I've never really gotten into the inFamous series as of now. The first two games, I wasn't too keen on the whole inFamous Cole and his, anti-hero type of deal going on. So I was kind of turned off from the series. But Second Son, when I saw the trailer originally on E3 when they first announced the game, I was really excited about it because it seemed like a really fresh take on the series. It was a clever idea. I always thought that the actual storyline for inFamous was really cool, so I just needed a better character to get into the series. And I haven't gotten around to play Second Son yet, but I saw that First Light was on sale last weekend. Like, you know what? Maybe I should give this game a shot. So I decided to play it, and I can honestly say I've been pleasantly surprised by a lot of things I experienced while playing it. So let's get into this review. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the storyline for inFamous First Light. Now, I've never played the full game of Second Son, so what I'm going off of is basically all the storyline that's been presented to me from First Light. Now, the character you play with in First Light is Fetch. She's a female conduit, and conduits in this game are pretty much like, I guess, metahumans. They have cool powers they can use, and her power is Neon. And Neon's pretty much, I guess you can say, like, we didn't know the neon lights she sees. She can pretty much harness that type of power and like zap people with like cool lasers and stuff. Sort of like Dazzler from X-Men. That's how I pretty much put her powers. Um, so as a child, she was found to be a conduit, and the police department, the D.U.P, was gonna come and take her away, of course, because they were trying to like round up all the conduits. But her and her brother decided to leave, and they were on pretty much on the run for like a couple of years, basically most of her life. And she lived on the streets. They were pretty much bums, just living around. Until unfortunately she gets caught up in a mixed up, like, crazy turf war with like these two rival gangs while she's in the city. And unfortunately her brother gets taken. So you're pretty much on a whole rat trying to save her brother from the clutches of this crazy, like, pseudo Texan crime boss wannabe named Shane. And also, you're pretty much reliving the story through the eyes of Fetch while she's in jail with the D.U.P. So that's pretty much the main story of the game. I like the story. I think it was really, like, I really got really involved with the storyline when I was playing. I felt like I was playing a movie pretty much, and I love the way that the story was told. And I think that they did a really good job of writing it because I didn't feel like the scripting was bad. I think the scripting was really good, and the way the stories were told was really good. The characterization was good. I mean, even though the game wasn't very long, there still was a lot of like heart and depth to the characters. Mainly Fetch. I really enjoyed her as a character. I thought she was a well-written character. So the storyline for the game was really great, especially even though it only had a small amount of time. They used their time wisely to tell a great story. Alright guys, so now we're going to talk about the mechanics and gameplay. First, I'm going to talk about the combat. Now, I did figure that the combat in this game was going to be maybe on a little weak side when it came to actual melee attacks, because this game is more about the, long range, the cool special abilities, stuff like that. So, unfortunately, the melee kind of took a tumble as far as being anything of value. Her melee attacks are pretty weak, and I think the animation for some of the stuff was kind of like they're not very good. But that's just a small minor point. Now, the range attacks and her abilities are really cool. Like, she gets so many cool attacks. Like, she gets missiles that she can use, and she gets this really, really big, huge attack called Singularity. It's like a screen filling, like, supernova attack that she uses, and it pulls all the enemies in and it just explodes. I think it's really, really amazing. Yeah, combat's really strong in this game. I just prefer not to use the melee because the melee is really weak. Even though it's funny to see her kicking and punching, especially if you actually do punch somebody off a building, it's hilarious. But you're mainly going to be using a lot of her range attacks because that's where most of her power comes from anyway. The next thing that's important about the gameplay mechanics of this game is the exploration and the growth system that they have in this game. This game has a skill tree, big whoop. A lot of games have skill trees. Now, to get your skills up, you get these things called SP. And in order to get SP, you have to get these small items called lumens. This is where the exclamation part of the game really comes to play, because you're able to gain SP by various different mini games within the game. One particular one is the lumen race, where you actually have to race against a lumen to catch it. It's kind of like Sonic. This is very felt a lot like Sonic. Actually, I started singing the Sonic song "Gotta Go Fast" when I was playing this. So another way she gets SP is by doing graffiti on some of the buildings, and which is pretty fun. I feel like I was playing Jet Set Radio when I was doing that part, and you actually use the actual 6-axis of the controller to guide her hand to do the graffiti. It's not super intuitive and it's not super hard to do because a lot of times I was messing up, but it's pretty forgiving when it comes to that part. Let's see how else. And she's able to grab these lumens who may be just in the sky somewhere, because there are a lot of lumens just sitting around the city, just floating around. You have to go catch. And exploring the city and jumping and, you know, finding better ways to like do platforming is really important in order to get lumen, because you need those to level up. So that's really important. Also, since this is an open world game, you're able to really explore the city in your own time frame. So you don't really have to do the main story as quick as possible. You can pretty much have a good feel of actually exploring the city and seeing what things you can find. And of course, while you're exploring, you will find your way to some fights that happen so often in this game, which I liked. I like being able to all of a sudden, you know, I'm getting attacked by somebody out of nowhere. It kind of puts a really good real world aspect to the game. And there's so many different other little small mini games in the game that was really cool. This is a really well thought out game as far as how they, you know, combine these little mini games that actually have real relevance in the game, and the combat and the story and how the story progresses through you doing these missions is really cool. So I thought that the gameplay mechanics of the game was really great. Alright guys, so now we're going to talk about the audio and visuals. This game looks fucking phenomenal. If you ever play LA Noire, it has that exact same like face recognition, motion capturing that they use in that game, and with the PS4's like really buffed up engine, this game looks fucking amazing. Like I'm sitting there watching this game like, wow, these graphics are so great. Like just everything about the game, just the way the streets look, you know, the lighting effects, the way the sweat drips on people's faces, the way their mouth moves. I mean, it feels really organic the way that people look and what they feel. Like it felt like you're really like watching a real movie, and the voice acting is really great too. And I was so happy to hear Laura Bailey. She's one of my favorite voice actresses. She's really great. And I think this is probably one of her best roles she's ever been in. Her role as Fetch is pretty incredible. Shane, which is Travis Willingham, he's in the game, and yeah, they make a really cool dynamic as far as the way they go off each other as far as the writing is concerned. Yeah, only thing about this game as far as the audio visual I didn't like was the music. I felt like the music was kind of cheesy and just kind of generic and throwaway, so it wasn't anything memorable. So in conclusion, I can say this game is excellent. Visually stunning. Gameplay's pretty good. I enjoy a lot of gameplay elements. I actually probably enjoyed the mini games a lot more than everything else, and I enjoy exploring the city a lot. Voice acting, superb job. The writing was really good, really spot on. I felt real. It didn't feel like a game. Like, you know, some games where they write things, it's like it kind of felt like it's just a video game. The writing in this game felt like it was a movie, and I really enjoyed that. Everything about this game was really great. Story was really well told, and I kind of wish her game was actually a little bit longer, or she gets like a spinoff in a prequel. I mean, like a sequel or something, because I feel like she is a really interesting character. To like maybe make a, I don't know, maybe a First Light 2 or a Second Light. I don't know. All in all, I could say I would give this game a minus. Really great game, really good core mechanics. You know, gameplay's pretty solid. Voice acting amazing. Story really great. I mean, overall, really great game. So yeah, final grade a minus. All right, guys, tell us what you think below. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to subscribe, comment if you don't like this video. Tell us what you think, and we'll see you next time.